going on, guys? It's Noah here with Custom RC Mods. Welcome back to a new video. In today's episode, we've got this Lipo battery on the bench, and I'm doing a heavily requested topic both on Instagram and YouTube. I've gotten a bunch of comments about this, and that is how to repair a balance lead on a Lipo battery. It's a pretty simple fix if you guys have a little bit of know-how and soldering skill. However, I just have to put this out there that if you guys don't know what you're doing with a soldering iron or have a shaky hand by any means, one false little slip here and this could be easily a fire or an explosion or something like that. So please, please, please pay the $20, get a brand new battery instead of risking burning your house down or damaging your belongings or loved ones, getting them injured. That would not be good. So yeah, I've got my Venom 1300 milliamp hour 35C 3 sub pack right here that's actually a few years old, so it was about time that it gave out. And I'm going to be repairing that today. I just kind of took off the casing and things like that so that I could see if this was a proper problem for this video to be addressed by. And it looks like it is. We've just got the negative balance lead that is broken here, but again, I cannot state enough how dangerous this can be because we've got a lot of exposed pins right here, and just bridging them for a second can cause a spark, and of course you already got the fuel right here. So if you guys can please do this, please go ahead and go out to like a well ventilated area, like somewhere you can just throw the battery out of the window just in case there's something happens so you don't lose your house or anything like that. As you can see, I'm still in my basement here, but I've got a fire extinguisher, ammo can, and Lipo safety bag right here at my disposal to use. And I'll be doing another video here in the future about these three items and just Lipo safety in general, because it is very understated how dangerous these batteries can be. Just go ahead and search in that YouTube search bar Lipo fire, Lipo explosion, and you will have plenty of entertainment of people's misfortune for hours and hours. Anyway, let's go ahead and focus our eyes towards this battery. You can see basically what I've done here is I've taken off the casing. So this is pretty self-explanatory. Most have these wraparound open end casings. So what you're going to do is just take a hobby knife. I would not recommend just using like a razor blade. Take something with a nice fine point and precision tool that has a nice handle on it, and we're going to just cut it open very delicately, and do not puncture the cells. That's the one thing, is that if you guys puncture the cells, this battery is toast and it's going to start puffing up and you're going to have a very, very bad day. So yeah, that's the one thing. Different batteries obviously are put together differently, so go ahead and get to this point where you've gotten the main casing off your battery, and you can kind of open up. Some batteries have this tape over the ends, and this one has a full like paper around it, so I went ahead and opened it up so that we have the pads exposed, as you can see right there. And basically how these Lipo batteries work is the balance connector connects the positive and negative from your lead, and then individually routes them to each cell so that they can get individual power to balance them out when you're charging. So the ones on the ends here are the positive and negative, which are the same on the ends as the main power lead here. So as you can see, the positive, which is my red, is actually soldered to the same pad as the actual lead itself, right on the very end here. And then in the middle two, go to the middle two pads for the cells in the middle. And then finally, the one on the end, which is the one of mine that's broken here, is the one that goes to the negative lead. So as you can see, we've got these four leads that we need to go ahead and solder to get this thing back and working. However, these two right here on the bottom are not an issue, so we're going to leave them as is and not worry about them. I'm going to go ahead and take some electrical tape, which is another thing that you're going to need, and go ahead and insulate these off. You want some insulating tape just to make sure there's no short circuits. So when you're in doubt, make sure that you have some insulation over everything at all costs. So I'm going to go ahead and take this electrical tape and cover my back two pads, as well as this one that's kind of seeping in right there as well. So these three pads that I'm not going to be soldering to, I'm going to go ahead and insulate right now. Alright, so as you can see, I've taken some of my orange insulating electrical tape and I've covered these three pads right here, and that leaves us with our one single exposed pad that we're going to be soldering this lead to right here. So we're going to go ahead and prep this lead with some solder and tin it up. So I'm going to grab my solder right here, and then I've set my soldering iron to medium heat, which is 3 out of 5 on my case. So just use as much as you need to melt the solder and get the wire back on there. And then I'm just going to strip it off I've got my soldering iron. This is pretty much simple soldering, which you should know to do by now. Then we're going to touch it to our lead and make sure we can melt the solder on the lead. There we are. And then finally, all we really have to do here, as you can see, is just take this and press it in place, just like so. Alright, so as you can see, it's not the prettiest of joints, but it is solid, and that means that we are pretty much back in business here with this battery. So I'm going to take the insulating tape off that kind of gets in the way here, and now we have basically this really awkward situation right here that I'm going to fix with some tape as well. But we've got pretty much it all set up just the way we want it, and I'm going to take this tape off that I used to take this paper back up, kind of button it back up as you can see, and we're going to then get ready to prep the battery back for normal use. Alright, so I just took off the tape, and now we're just going to fold it back into place the best we can, and hopefully we'll be pretty much all good to go and have less shortages here later. Then I'm just going to take some of these strips of electrical tape, just like that. And then finally what I'm going to do, just for safety, just because this is obviously going to be abused back in service, I'm going to take my orange electrical tape and just wrap it all the way around the battery, just to protect it. Alright, so once I've gotten that done, I'm just going to go ahead and take some duct tape and do the same thing. And that's basically just going to give this a rugged outer layer that still will be insulating, but it will mainly just take all the hits and let the electrical tape do the insulating. Alright, so now that we have that done, you can see that we've got this brick of a Lipo all ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and throw this on the charger. Let's bring the charger over here so you guys can see what we're working with. But I've got my high-tech X1 AC Plus charger right here that we're going to give this a shot and see if it's recognizing all the cells. So we're going to plug it into our 3S Lipo right here, and Lipo balance 1.3 amps for my 1300 milliamp hours 3S, and try to charge it. And as you can see, we've got all three of our cells here reading up. So I'm going to go ahead and watch this thing, throw it into this Lipo bag right here as it charges, and we are going to kind of see how it works. And that's pretty much it, all I have for this video. I'm really excited that we got this mod back and working. Remember, do this at your own risk. If you guys are watching this and about to do it, my one advice for you is just really take it slow and make sure that you're taking all the necessary precautions to do it. I know that you kind of just want to get back up in there, get it working, get it flying, but in this case, this is seriously could be a life or death scenario. If this thing goes south, it can provide obviously pretty significant injuries, if not death, if you're trapped down here, and obviously will cause lots of damage to your possessions. So yeah, make sure you take this seriously. Safety is a really big deal. That's the #1 thing that I need to state over and over again in this video. With that said, please comment down below if you have any questions about this process, and I'm really happy to provide more mods like this. So if you have a lot of feedback or video requests for the future, I'd be happy to take those. And please make sure to like and subscribe for some more content. And with that said, I'll catch you guys in the next video.